welcome to another edition of Lab Rats. My name's Andy Walker.
I'm Sean Carruthers.
And today on the show, we're going to show you the latest, greatest laptops available for sale this fall. You can see I've got a brand new Toshiba T1200.
That one's so big, it must be way better than the small one you have now.
Yeah, it is. I'm going to trade it in. Now, actually, we're at the PC Museum, Personal Computer Museum in Brantford, Ontario, about an hour west of downtown Toronto in Ontario, Canada. And today, we get to play with the history of computers.
Some of our own personal history, too, from the looks of it.
Yeah. This museum has hundreds of computers, half of which actually really work. So we're going to kind of take a trip down memory lane and look at the computers from Sean and my past, and a little later on, come back and kind of figure out what our favorites were.
Excellent.
So let's take a break, and when we come back, we're going to pop downstairs, check out computers, and that's after this. Hey, welcome back to Lab Rats. We're at the PC Museum in Brantford, Ontario, and I've been looking around for my computers from my past. And what are you doing here?
I'm with you.
Go look for a computer, and we'll check in with you a little later. Bye. Anyway, so the TRS-80. I found this. This is an awesome computer. This is the computer where I got rejected by a girl in grade 9. Actually, no, but it actually was in the computer lab when I was in high school. Now we're going back to the mid 80s, early 80s here. This model was created in 1983. It was the fourth of a series. And what we would do anyway, we would actually program in BASIC. It was computer class. This is before Windows. For those of you who've never seen a computer without a mouse before, and you would actually write little programs and that sort of thing. 1983 had 128 kilobytes of memory, at least that was the top end. The early models actually had 64K of RAM, right? So it's unbelievable how little computing power these had, and yet this was the beginning of the computer era, and this is what schools would often have. Notice TRS-80, it actually was called the Trash 80 because people didn't particularly like them, and you would save everything on a tape deck, or later on, these big floppy disks. Now, we're not in midget world here. This is actually how floppy disks used to look. Amazing things. Anyway, so that's the TRS-80. So I'm going to go check out a couple other machines. I wonder what Sean's up to. Hey, Sean, have you found something?
Sure did find something, Andy. Look at this. This is Sinclair ZX81. People in North America may recognize this as the Timex Sinclair. Timex, the watch company, actually brought this in from the UK where Sinclair was and rebranded it. The ZX81, released in 81, that's the name, 81. This was my very first computer that I had at home. I'd used some before at school, but this is the first one I actually used all to myself. And you might notice this keyboard is all flat. It's a soft keyboard, so you actually press where you want it, and it'll kick in that way rather than clacking away at the keys like you hear in the background here. Other thing on this one that was really interesting is it had a number of different modes that you could go in. So depending on where you were on the line when you were entering data, you'd either come up with a letter, a number, or there's actual words on here as well. So you can actually, instead of typing out GOTO, you could just press the key, G in this case, and GoTo would appear automatically. And then there's graphics on this, very rudimentary. Connected to your TV using this little port over here, like your old console. So if you had an Atari 2600, same sort of thing. You could switch between TV and the computer. And the thing that was interesting about this, 1 kilobyte of memory, 1K, compared to like 1 gigabyte. That's 1,000,000 times more that you can get in 1 gigabyte than you could here. And this big honking thing on the back, 16K additional memory pack, and at that time, that was huge. So Andy, you find anything?
I found the computer that started it all. This is the IBM model 5150, circa 1981. Get in there, Matt, if you can. Very, very cool. It's a color screen on this baby. But IBM sold 200,000 of these units. It ran PC-DOS version 1.0, which is the operating system. Actually, it was precursor to Bill Gates' MS-DOS. An amazing piece of gear because it really started the personal computer revolution. And I want to point out a couple of really interesting things about this. First of all, the keyboard, it has this really nice tactile, it's actually the IBM Selectric keyboard kind of feel. So listen. Oh, love that. Wish I had that on my Logitech keyboard these days. Unfortunately, of course, it's in a metal case. It's 4 times as heavy as your typical keyboard today, right? But oh my God, talk about quality. You're not going to get, if you spill coffee in this thing, it'll work through, forever and through probably a nuclear war. So really, this is the model that kind of, if you have a computer on your desktop today and you wondered where it all started, this was the one. Little piece of history in the PC Computer Museum. Let's see if we can find Sean, see what he's got next.
We're actually looking at an Amiga 1000 here. Now the Amiga is the first computer that I bought with my very own money. I had actually the Amiga 500, which was all-in-one sort of situation, not a separate computer and keyboard. The whole thing came up, and you actually drop in a shot of that right here. Very interesting. It had very good graphics, integrated sound, all of that sort of stuff before a lot of the other computers did. So they really were trailblazers in a lot of ways at that point when they came out with these back in the early 80s. Now, didn't really catch on the way they probably should have, considering all the stuff that they had inside. But you know, a lot of people still hold very fond memories of the Amigas. It's from Commodore Business Group, and you know, it's business because it came from the business area. And we've got actually a couple of the earlier ones here, things that I've also worked on. The Commodore PET, which was way back in the day, has a tape player built in. That's how you used to be able to store data on there. There's none of this disk drives or USB flash drives. You see a tiny keyboard here, and little graphic things on here, just like we had with the Sinclair. But you know what, this really took off, I think, for consumers and schools when we went over to the Super PET. The Super PET was one of the ones that I dealt with when I was first taking computer camp for kids. Yes, I was a big nerd even back in those days. I was about 12. So anyways, this whole thing, you got big honkin' disk drive over here. This is what a floppy drive looked like back in those days in 1981. And again, you could use the cassette deck as well. And you know, this price on this, $2,000 when it first came out, which is, you know, about the price of a really good machine right now, but it was much less capable. More capable in those days. It was very nice, and I learned a lot. And I basically grew up on one of these things in school. Anyways, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to play a game here, and you can go find Andy now.
Oh. Well, as you've seen, it's rare to see a computer in this museum that doesn't actually work. Well, here's one that doesn't, called the Apple Lisa 2. Now, it's on display because it's extremely rare. Really, the story behind this computer is that Steve Jobs named it after his daughter, and it was really the one that brought forth the modern-day operating system on Apple, and really led to the lineage of the Apple operating system and the famous GUI interface that it has. Of course, it still has the one-button mouse. Poor old Steve Jobs can't get to 2 buttons. As you can see, it's not in great shape, but Sid, who's the curator of the museum, says that they're working on restoring this, put a power supply perhaps, and get it actually up and running eventually. So a very famous computer, worth a fortune, and one of the rare pieces in this museum that really showcases the history of computers.
You know, my second computer after the Sinclair, TI-99-4A from Texas Instruments. This is a company that had been building a lot of chips. You may know the name from calculators. They had a lot of calculators out in the market. This one right here, again, was, you know, I had this while all of my friends had the Commodore 64, and I was a little bit bummed out about that. But you know what, it was actually a really nice machine. It had color on it, it had a polyphonic music thing, so I actually spent a lot of time playing music on this thing just by programming it to play different chords and notes. So my love of music was, you know, fostered by this a lot. And it had a number of add-ons as well, so you could get a tape drive for this, load up your things that way, but you could also get cartridges for it, just like you could with like the Atari 2600, and just slaughter all in and turn it on. Screen looked great. Press any key. If you can't find the any key, press whatever key you like, and then just press this to get going. And you know, a lot of fun. One of my favorite machines to this day.
I'm having fun.
Really?
Yeah. Hey, I noticed that this Parsec computer Commodore thingy, whatever you were showing,
yes,
it boots faster than Windows Vista.
Anything boots faster than Windows Vista.
All right. Are we done? Do we have anything else to do?
No, I think our time is out.
I really want to stay.
It's like my childhood come to life.
Yes, true, isn't it? It's like Disneyland for geeks. Yay! All right, well, stay with us because we have a short break. When we come back, we're going to wrap up here at the PC Museum in Brantford, Ontario, west of Toronto.
Can I go play some more?
Yeah, go on. No, I'm going to go play Pac-Man too. See you. Welcome back to Lab Rats on the Butterscotch.com network. So I am thrilled to be here. I just realized that we're standing in front of a massive software library. There's, what, 1,000 titles here? There's Norton Utilities, the original version back there, MS-DOS, all the versions of Windows. It's just amazing.
There's some games I used to play down there too. I wasted many an hour with those.
Absolutely. What was your favorite moment here today?
I don't know if I can pick a favorite moment of the stuff that I saw, but I understand that you had to cover the Lisa by Apple.
I did.
Did you enjoy that?
I did. You know, it's an icon. It's an iconic computer. Even though Apple sucks, you know, it was a great moment of my day. So I was really thrilled with it.
You can send your email to feedback@labrats.tv.
Don't forget, you can support the PC Museum here in Brantford, Ontario. It's an hour west of Toronto. Come on out. They're open Monday nights, some Monday nights and some Saturdays. Just check out the schedule before you come out here. Also, you know, support the museum with your financial donation. You can adopt a computer. I'm going to
sort of like adopting a stretch of highway.
Like that, exactly. So I'm going to adopt the Windows Vista machine because, of course, poor Windows Vista is so unfortunate, right?
Yeah, it'll be here soon enough.
So support the museum that way. Of course, if you have an old piece of hardware sitting in your garage and you want to make sure it's preserved for forever, then go to pcmuseum.ca, email Sid, the curator here, and get it on out here so it can be put on display. All right, well, I guess that's it. I did want to mention that you know, we've been white balancing our cameras all day with this nice binder. If you flip it over, it's actually a Commodore VIC-20 cassette case or something like that.
There you go.
There's no paper here. It's all computer.
Yeah, we even do vintage white balancing here.
That's right. There you go. Anyway, thanks so much for watching this week. Thanks for pushing play. We would be foolish to be here if you weren't out there watching us. My name is Andy Walker.
I'm John Carruthers.
And we'll see you next time. Let's go look at the Amigas.
Are you ready?
How old are you? 8.